In 1920, a stretch of California coastline had a dance hall, a café, a bathhouse with hot showers, and hundreds of families in the water on a summer weekend. It was one of the few places in the state where a black family could rent a swimsuit, eat a meal, and swim in the Pacific without being told to leave. 10 years later, the same land was an empty lot. No dance hall, no cafe, no people, just weeds, and a city that had gone to extraordinary lengths to make sure it stayed that way. The park the city eventually built there sat almost unused for the better part of a century. That was, it turns out, the entire point. This is the story of how a family lost a beach and how, 98 years later, they got it back. It started in February of 1912 when a woman named Willa Bruce did something that, on paper, was a completely ordinary real estate transaction. She paid $1,225 for a beachfront lot in Manhattan Beach, just south of Los Angeles. What made it extraordinary was the context. This was the era of legally enforced segregation, when most Southern California beaches were closed to black visitors outright, or made hostile enough that the message was clear without a sign. Willa Bruce bought the lot anyway, and with her husband, Charles, she built something on it. They called it Bruce's Lodge. By 1916, it was a full resort, a cafe serving food, a dance hall, a bathhouse with changing rooms and showers, so families who had traveled from across the city could actually swim and clean up afterward. Black families came from all over Los Angeles and beyond, some traveling considerable distances for the simple experience of a day at the ocean without being harassed. The Bruces later bought a second lot. Other black families began buying property nearby. What was forming on that piece of coast was something rare in 1920s America, a black beach community on prime oceanfront land, entirely legal, entirely paid for. And that is precisely what the neighbors could not tolerate. The campaign against Bruce's Beach was not subtle. It escalated in stages, and every stage is documented. First came the no trespassing signs, posted to confuse and discourage visitors. Then, the practical sabotage, tires slashed on the cars of beachgoers so families would find themselves stranded miles from home. Then, attempted arson. And then the Ku Klux Klan, burning crosses in the area to make the message unmistakable. The Bruces did not leave. Their customers kept coming. The resort kept operating. And when intimidation failed, the campaign moved somewhere the Bruces couldn't fight back with persistence, into the machinery of the law itself. In 1924, white real estate agents and residents petitioned the Manhattan Beach City Council. The council responded by voting to condemn the Bruce property and the land around it through eminent domain, the government's power to seize private property for public use. The stated public use was a park. The city said it urgently needed a park right there on that specific block. Here is how you know what it actually was. After the city took the land, it did not build the park. Not that year, not the next, not for years. The lots simply sat empty, weeds where the dance hall had been. A city that had claimed an urgent need for public parkland let the seized property sit vacant, and a small park was not actually built on part of it until decades later in the 1960s. They didn't want a park. They wanted the Bruces gone. The park was the paperwork. If the detail that the city seized this land for an urgently needed park and then left it empty for decades just told you everything about what this really was, hit that like button. It tells me these are exactly the records worth pulling. Tell me in the comments what you'd have done in the Bruce's place. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Because what happened almost a century later is the part nobody saw coming. The Bruces fought the condemnation in court. In 1929, the court validated the city's claim and finalized the settlement. The family received $14,500 for property, a business, and a livelihood they had built from nothing over more than a decade. Charles and Willa Bruce never recovered what they lost. They spent the rest of their lives working other jobs, the resort gone, the land they'd bought legally, now a vacant lot, with their name still informally attached to it. They both died without the property, and without any acknowledgement that what had been done to them was anything other than legal. And it was legal. That's the uncomfortable heart of this story. Everything the city did in 1924 was done through official channels, in public meetings, recorded in public documents, which is exactly why, decades later, the paper trail was still sitting there for anyone willing to read it. In the 2020s, that's what happened. Researchers, activists, and local officials went back through the record, and what they found was undeniable enough that the state of California passed legislation specifically authorizing the return of the land. On July 20th, 2022, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors formally returned Bruce's Beach to the legal heirs of Charles and Willa Bruce, 98 years after the city took it. It is widely described as the first case of its kind in the United States. Land seized through racist use of eminent domain, given back to the descendants of the family it was taken from. Then came the coda that says as much as anything else. In January of 2023, the Bruce family decided to sell the land back to Los Angeles County. The price was $20 million. The great-grandchildren of a couple who were paid $14,500 for that same beach walked away with $20 million, and with something the county could not put a number on: the official, on-the-record admission that it was stolen. Willa Bruce bought that lot for $1,225 and built a place where people who were unwelcome almost everywhere else could spend a day at the ocean. It took 98 years and 3 generations for anyone in power to say out loud that taking it was wrong. The park they built to erase her still stands. It's still named after her. If you want more stories like this one, real, forgotten, hidden in the details the official version leaves out, watch the video that's on your screen right now. Here on It Sounds Like Fiction. But it's history. There's always one more secret waiting.